Hey, what's going on YouTube? And RS here with another video showcasing Starcraft 2, only the best game on the planet. Today we are here watching a best of series from MLG Providence between two players, Naniwa spawning as the Red Protoss over on the left side of the map, who I am slowly falling in love with in an esports kind of way. He has had so many great performances lately. I'm looking forward to this match series. And on the opposite side of the map we have DRG spawning as the Blue Zerg. This is actually DongRaeGu here today on GSL Dual Site. So if I sound a little chipper, a little excited, that's because having some good times here lately, IRL. The college that I do tutoring at is kind of winding down its fall term, which means finals week is just about over. I get my month-long winter break, and means a lot more times for games. So I've been making my way through Skyrim, which is awesome, by the way. I'm probably going to be like the last person on the planet to actually beat it, but I have been recording my shenanigans, and so far it's been a pretty darn fun time. It's over on my second channel where all the recordings are at. You'll find a link in the video section, or in the video description, if you care to watch. Also, Minecraft server, which I've had down for an ungodly long amount of time, is going to be up very soon. Now we've got the mods almost working. I know some of you actually play on that server, so I'm just kind of making this, wrapping this announcement into this video, so that way you know. Don't have to make a separate video just for that. So now that we've made it about 2 minutes in, let's talk about the build so far. DRG throwing down a pool first. This is not at all a surprising move. He's doing this so early because he knows Naniwa, on this map with only 2 player spawning positions, he knows Naniwa is going to be able to come over here very quickly and harass the expansion with the probe. So the earlier he can get out those Zerglings, the better. Likewise, Naniwa, while he's harassing with that probe, he is going ahead with a Forge Expand build. Now, on this map, it's actually very important to do this. If you're going to be going for an expansion early against a Zerg, it's very difficult to defend this expansion down here because you can see, very wide open ramp here. Pretty wide open ramp here as well. And so, with the expansion being so close to the or not the ramps, but the opening, the ramp right here, you see that a forge placed with a gateway, and you can throw a cannon somewhere around here and seal it up right there, and you're gonna be golden. Of course, this cannon that Naniwa just placed is in about as good a position as possible. It's gonna be able to have a firing range of around right here, which means it can guard the Nexus, it can guard the forge, it can guard the pylon going over here. And I do want to point out that DRG is sending out a few Zerglings. Now, they probably won't be able to do too terribly much in the way of taking out this expansion because this cannon is going to be finishing up right as the Zerglings approach. But also, do want to point out this expansion is up here. The hatchery is now finally starting about 25% complete. That probe actually looks like it's on its way back there, the 6th Zergling, where we see our DRG actually doing a bit of nice harassment, losing 1 Zergling there to the cannon. Naniwa trying to use this probe to just get any damage possible on these Zerglings. The nice thing about this is, the probe, by attacking like he is right now, he's trying to bait the Zerglings over to the range of the cannon. But since they're in the hold position, DRG knows what he's doing. He's able to finish up that pylon before losing all of these Zerglings, which you see is going to happen right now with Naniwa. Oh, no, they managed to get out. Continued harassment by DRG. Let's actually look at the workers killed so far. 1 compared to 6 units total for Naniwa. Resources lost there, still pretty close. I know it's really early and doesn't matter that much, but I know some people still like to know those kinds of things. That in the APM also 107 to 88. Zerg, likewise, down here, he has got his expansion going full throttle. While that harassment was going on, he was droning some more, and then after that, he built a few more drones. Now, look at what he's doing actually down here. He sent a drone to this expansion. Presumably, drop a hatchery, I mean, that much is obvious, but what's interesting about it is the fact that most Zerg players I've seen actually prefer to drop them up here, because you're able to spread the creep, just kind of flow down this ramp all nice-like. This way, by dropping this expansion, it's a little bit more out of the way. The Protoss might not spot it as early. And so, of course, with Naniwa going this Forge build, he's pretty much just going to be not so good in the way of army. His, of course, gateway was delayed because the forge came first, and he is trying to chrono boost out his warp gate research to get that going as quickly as possible. You see that we're at the 630 mark, and it's about 30% complete. That first Zealot's going to come out now and start attacking those Zerglings, presumably just to keep those scouts away from Naniwa's base. He just wants to try to get a little bit of map control back. which he knows is going to be limited in really what he can do, because overlords are going to be scattered around, but still he can control the watchtowers. He can come up here and at least try to scout out just a little bit. He knows DRG most likely is not going to have too many Zerglings at this stage of the game because of the fact that he got that early pull. You know, he's going to want to try to drone up as quickly as possible. You know, obviously that's not quite as the economic build as something like a 15 or a 16 hatch, but then again, I mean, you really can't pull something like that off on a map like this versus a player like Naniwa, who, I mean, Naniwa, like I've said before, he has just had so many great plays lately. Such a I really like the fact that he has a very varied playbook of styles, strategies, builds, etc. He's not like a one or two trick pony that you see just making him go really far. I've seen him pull off some crazy stuff at all different stages of the game. So, of course, myself being a Protoss player, I'm a little bit biased as well. But, you know, DRG at the same time, this guy has had some amazing performances, especially versus Terran. I really don't see him losing that often versus Terran. It does happen from time to time, but it's very impressive watching him play. So, now we actually see continued harassment over here from Naniwa at this third base, actually happening to spot this relatively early. He does have a proxy pylon positioned down here, so he's going to be able to bring in some quick zealot reinforcements. I'm really going to be curious to see how much this is actually going to force DRG to commit to not making drones to try to get this third base saturated. We actually look at the income right now, 46 to 59, so he is a good bit ahead, but all of this running around is really eating into his mining time for this third base, and of course losing all the larvae as well. I really like how Naniwa has, you know, he's continuing to commit to trying to take down this hatchery, even while dealing with the rest of the Zerg forces here. So is he going to be able to pick it down? 57 hit points, 42. Oh my god. Oh, 27 hit points left on this hatchery. It is so very close, but Naniwa not able to bust it out. He is going to be losing this proxy pylon to these roaches. Great defense by DongRaeGu, man. Let me just tell you, if that wasn't a clutch hatchery save, I don't know what is. So DRG has sent an overlord over this base. While that was going on, he has spotted the robotics bay. We see the robotics facility, and I don't know if he saw the 2 additional gateways, but that's not going to be as important as this warp prism coming over here, which is going to drop some stalkers and hope to try to drop this hatchery. You're going to see them just land right there, focus down. Yep, sure enough, there we go. I mean, again, that's to be expected. It would be silly not to go for that. Let's just say that. But this warp prism harass, I think it definitely has potential here, because the Zerg player only has the Queen as an anti-air mechanism for defense, but really, being down to 2 hatcheries like he is, you know, he's long-distance mining right now, that's really going to hurt him here, because you see, he has so many drones, he has committed 3 base worth of larvae and drones to mining, where that could have been, you know, if he was going to be on a 2-base play, that could have been dedicated a little bit more to army units. So he really doesn't have the ability to support the current infrastructure that he has with that macro hatchery with the units that he's currently trying to produce. You see, that's why he's kind of had to switch over a little bit more in the way of Zerglings. But I do want to also point out right now that you see how Naniwa is forced to go in a rather defensive position, because he knows that the Zerg is going to be trying to come in for a counterattack. He's hoping that because he's done all this tech here and he's done his own economic build, having lost a couple units with this warp prism plus all of the zealots, that the Protoss is going to be in a weakened state. But we see that Naniwa is all but that. He has got 1 Colossus here with range about 75% complete. The sentries are what's doing him for right now, man. Keeping these roaches out of play. You saw how we just did a great job sandwiching off a good portion of that army, and now keeping this warp prism alive and able to do a counterattack with such a strong position right now. We're going to see Naniwa actually possibly pull ahead in this game even more. So looking at the income right now, we see they're just about even with our Zerg player trying to double expand right now. You see they were dropped at roughly the same time. Here comes DRG hoping for the counterattack while this army is way out of position. He knows the roaches are keeping it busy way up top here, but they are just getting so cluttered in this natural, trying to beat down this cannon, that the zealots are able to come in and do some serious damage as we watch the Protoss army get ready to head towards the third base. This is sure to fall. Also, these Zerglings probably going to get mopped up here by this cannon. You see several of them just did unfortunately die for DRG. Now, we see this expansion's going down. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. Let's pay attention over here to what will be more important, and that is DRG's line of defense at the natural expansion. Now, while we're talking about this, keep in mind these Zerglings are still getting mopped up by Naniwa. Force Field's going down there. There's a lot of Spine Crawlers, even more being built currently, and those Zerglings are actually being funneled in very slowly. A few of them get in there. Colossi able to mop up, and you see not nearly enough Mutalisk to be able to deal with this army effectively. He might be thinking of going for a counterattack. It looks like he is heading down towards the natural expansion as we speak. And look at the Naniwa's sentries, actually. He has very, very little energy. So, fortunately for Naniwa, he still has these 2 Colossi here and the Warp Prism, so he can continue to bring in fresh reinforcements. Oh, this could go down any second now. So very close. Good response by Naniwa. Yeah, he needs to bring that up and basically camp on it, or else ZRG is going to be trying to take it out. So with no energy here, Naniwa is forced to engage all of these Zerglings directly, trying to use micromanagement to pick off the Mutalisk one by one, making sure those Stalkers are only firing at the units that the Colossi can't. With all the Colossi but going down here in the army, one fresh one has managed to come into the field and score 18 Zergling kills. There's the GG from DRG, concluding game number 1 and giving it to Naniwa. That's going to be it for this game, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing. That helps me out a ton. Also, if you want more general gaming footage, you can head over to my second channel as well. I'm also doing a lot of coverage for Tribes Ascend. For those of you that don't know, Tribes Ascend was recently inducted into the Season 3 of the NASL tournaments. So I'm trying to get up a bunch of tutorial videos for how to use the classes. Also, just kind of general gameplay myself. I play Pathfinder, so I try to make a lot of just gameplay videos of me having fun, kind of relaxed, not quite as as formal as like the Starcraft 2 casts are, where we try to look at the players, what they're doing, and guess ahead. But for now, let's just go on to game number 2 and see if DRG is going to be able to make a comeback.